Welcome to Take It from the Ironwoman. My name is Susanne Mueller, your host and the Ironwoman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Ironwoman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. This podcast is being sponsored by Get Loopy. On episode 41, you can hear the story of Isabel, the co-founder and CEO. Get Loopy, get a 20% discount off your first order. GetLoopy.com. Take it from the Ironwoman. Guess what? We have a very special guest. David Nebinski is with us. He's obviously my role model when it comes to podcasting. He has done more than 100 episodes. I'm trying to follow his footsteps, but I'm very honored to have David. So, David, introduce yourself a little bit. Who is David who's joining us today?
Well, first, Susanne, thank you so much. It's great to be here and really appreciate your generous and kind words. Everybody's a role model to somebody in so many different ways. So there's parts of you're an author, I'm not. You're a role model to me in that way. So
thank you.
Your question though about who am I? So right now I live in New York City, and as you mentioned, I'm a podcaster, the host of Portfolio Career Podcast, and I started that in the summer of 2018. And I think since then I've been doing what I would say all things podcasting, and that's thankfully how we got to meet. And yeah, podcasting has just been a big part of my, I guess, identity. And just really grateful for all of the opportunities and chances to meet people and talk to people and create work just like we're doing here.
Oh, amazing. And I feel like with podcasting, you can reach out to the world and you can reach out to people that you might have never met before. So I think it's something magical.
I think it is a great way to talk to new people. I mean, it's obviously a lot more generous and kind and collaborative than saying, hey, let's hop on a call to talk about something. Everybody's got a story to share and everybody's got expertise. And if you really respect somebody and they believe in what you're doing, there's definitely some magical moments can happen. So I'm really grateful for what podcasting has allowed me to do.
Yeah. And my episodes focus on leaders in sports and in business. And I think you're one of those, right? So you combine sport and business. So tell us a little bit, what does running mean to your sports in general?
So running's been an interesting thing for me. Growing up and playing high school sports and stuff like that, I did not train or did not focus on that as much. Probably my dad would have liked me to. But that being said, running has been a really great part has brought some extra special moments into my life, particularly in kind of two chunks or two parts. One, through my family for the last 9 years, we've had every year we've been able to rally a small team called Team Nebinski in Washington, D.C., and that is related to help raise awareness and funds for kidney cancer research. I lost my dad right after college to kidney cancer. So that race really brought my family together. And it's been a really great way and thankful for all the support from the community. And we've been able to do some fun, interesting kind of fundraisers. And even when I moved to San Francisco, we did some stuff while I was out there. And it's been a really great thing. So running's a part of that. And then also when I was in San Francisco, I moved out there in 2014. It's a beautiful city. And the culture there really embraced outdoors. So I'd run a bunch out there. And that's when I first started running in some half marathons. That was a great experience as well, seeing, new parts of California, but also, pushing myself mentally And, as I mentioned, I didn't really consider myself a runner growing up. I didn't really consider myself athletic, and not necessarily to say that you have to be athletic to run a half marathon, but you do need to persist and you do need to keep going. And so I like to try to find opportunities that personally and professionally that have enough kind of runway to keep going. And podcasting is one of them. A half marathon there's plenty of runway there as well.
A lot of time that you can, and miles that you can cover. And you say persistent. So when you started running, was that to get through something, or was that when you lost your father, or how did you get into the running?
I think I got into it because I was new to San Francisco. There's that side of it of just wanting to see a new city, be out there, get to know it. And then on like the Team Nebinski side, my family kind of learned about this race a little bit unexpectedly and a little bit by chance. It was an existing race, and we were lucky to just be a part of it. And to me, that's running is kind of like the byproduct of that, which is more of a community-based effort. I also do run every single morning, even though it's not that long. That process of kind of how I start my day is really helpful to me as well. So no matter what, put on the shoes and run for, 2-3 miles. That habit has been very helpful for me, just like podcasting. So yeah, in kind of unexpected ways, running has been very helpful to me.
And I like when you say habit. So some people, they get up, they have a coffee, and that's their habit. But for you, you get up and you run, and then you're kind of like, this is your mental start of the day, I would assume, in a way.
Yeah, 100%. Some people have that, I forget who said it, but I think it was either a Army general or someone in the Navy SEALs. But there's a quote that says, like, if you make your bed every day, when you get up in the morning, no matter what happens, you've accomplished that. And so you could say the day is successful. So maybe you could say, I look at running and starting the morning as similar to making the bed. We all have so many different habits. Some are good, some are bad. And what's important is to think about what are the ones that we have that we want to keep, what are the ones that are productive, to keep doing them, and they compound over time. So just like your writing led into your book, so there's habits are all around us.
And to keep them, I think that's important, not to find an excuse. I mean, there's always weather. And do you run outside or inside when you do every morning?
Outside. So it's a little bit harder. It's harder in New York than it is in San Francisco. I think that was also one of the main benefits and why I ran so much out there, was just because the weather. But yeah, here in New York, it's definitely a little bit harder. But, running outside when it's snowing or there's snow on the ground definitely builds up your threshold for discomfort, which is a good thing.
I think so. And I have to say, I've been running many years, and actually the snow is beautiful in New York when you get to do the first steps and nobody was there. That's magical. When it rains, not so much. I prefer when it's warm and nice. Yeah. What tips can we give to the listeners if they want to mirror your habits? Do you have days when you say like, no, not today? Or what do you have like a pep talk for yourself in the morning?
It's now just become a little bit second nature. So when I look outside and I see the weather, that definitely causes concern. But I think I just keep doing it. One of the things that I used to another habit that I used to have was I used to always do push-ups in the morning after I went running. And after I did that, then I would text friends and say, so it was 100 push-ups, and I would just text the emoji 100. And that mechanism and that feedback loop, that helped a lot because I knew that I was telling my friends. I used to also, I think it was the Nike running app. I used to use that back in the day. So I think like ways that you can make it enjoyable, social, collaborative, like so many other things, do that with running, and then it just becomes a lot easier. So if you like to, if instead of you saying it's me doing this, it's me doing it with friends, or accountability, social, that can definitely help when there's days when you wake up and you say, don't feel as good as I'd like to, but I can't let my friends down, so I'm going to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know this accountability part is super big, right? So if you know your friend will text you, you've done 90 push-ups and you did 90, you're like, oh. You said like you're not so competitive, but when it comes to that, are you competitive in that case?
I aim to make promises and keep them. And so competing is not, I think competition has a lot more of a scarcity mindset than more of an abundant mindset. And so accountability is saying, hey, did you do this? I did this too, as opposed to I won, you lost. And so I think that's the problem, I think, with competition, and competition also then, it's you versus them, as opposed to let's all get better. And we always get better with other people. And so how do you create environments like that? And running's just another example. Another reason, similar to podcasting in the way I'm a better podcaster because of you. It's about trying to set up environments like that where a rising tide lifts all boats. Well,
I would like to extend an invitation to my running group for sure, when we all can run together again. I have been in a running group and we meet every Tuesday, every Saturday, and we have a motto and it says, whether or not, weather is no factor. So we have met when basically nobody was in Central Park, only the crazy ones. But a group of us, 4 or 5 people, we were always there. And you said it, it's whatever works in a group is how we get stronger. So we were training together, traveling to marathons together, and it's that support that's really is helping you. So I want to make sure you get that same experience that you had in San Francisco, also in New York. I will make sure that we can integrate you into the running, except I have a few very crazy friends. One has run 258 marathons and some of them over 100. And one is an Ironman, and I think he has done 18 or 19. So I don't know if you want to meet those people who are a little crazy.
I think one thing that also was really good about when I started running was, and thank you for the invitation, is also like I started to do it when it was brand new for me. And so that, call it breaking cycles and starting something new and then getting really interested in it, like that's a really powerful personal development, spiritual development, professional development situation. And obviously none of us really like reinventing ourselves and trying new things, but we can get kind of stuck sometimes in our current habits and current behaviors. So running allowed me to kind of break out, and then I got really excited about it and we get hooked on that. So, I think there's definitely periods in our lives where it's good to explore and then come back, and it's like, what did we learn? And then keep focused on building great habits on those things that we like, and then call it, 18, 12 months, then try something else. And then, keep doing that to keep our bodies and our minds fresh.
Oh, that's good. And I want to shift. I have some questions on the podcasting. So you've now reached the magic number of 100. And I'm obviously a rookie in that respect. So I'm wondering, is there any time when you think like, oh my God, this is hard? Is there at any time that you're like, enough, or you just met so many wonderful people that you were inspired to keep on going?
Well, I think part of the reason, it goes back to running, but part of the reason how I think I also was able to keep going was, being in a community and being in a workshop with you. And so that, similar to running and working out, it's how do you make professional interest and creative interest collaborative and be in an environment where that's just what people do. So, there's definitely, there's challenges and stuff. But I also think like some of the times that were a little bit harder or a little bit uncertain, I think I kind of stretched myself and did some interesting or different things. And so it's, constraints create creativity. Sometimes those hard parts turned out to be good outcomes. I think it just comes back to like, am I the type of person that isn't going to keep his or her word? To me, it was, I'm a weekly podcaster. That's just what I do. Just like, you're a runner, you're a writer. It's just what you do. So once you start breaking those things, they're tough to pick them back up again. So I don't want to break them.
Okay, good. We wait till you have whatever, 200, whatever is the next magic number. And I like when you said in the running, and it's in the same with the podcasting, keep going, keep shipping, make a ruckus, as we know from Seth Godin, right? Any final thoughts, David? This was inspiring, and trying to get to that magical number this year.
Well, this is a magical moment here, and I'm really grateful to be here on episode 50. And I'm grateful for our friendship and the work that we've been able to do together. Any parting thoughts? I love the way that you talked about it in your trailer about taking one step forward and just keep going. And so I think that that's really important. And I feel like a lot of the things that I would not be here if I didn't just keep going. And so everything gets easier over time. And the more you do it, just like with running, it's the same thing with work. It's the same thing with relationships. So, there's definitely highs and lows, but just to keep going, act like a pro.
Act like a pro. Thank you very much. I think this is the wisest word. So keep going. Don't break your habits. Act like a pro. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you so much, Susanne. Really appreciate it.
What a fun talk. What will you take away? Never break your habits. Be the pro. Thank you, David Nebinski. Our 50th episode. What an accomplishment. Every Monday, every Wednesday, we have new episodes. Chime in, like us, leave a comment. Thank you very much.